Picture this, all right? It's 2 a.m., the streets are completely dead, and you suddenly find yourself in a massive cash emergency. The banks are closed, the tellers are long gone, and literally all you have in your pocket is a tiny piece of plastic. You step into a quiet, glowing booth, slide that card in, type in a quick PIN, and boom, within seconds, the machine hands you exactly the cash you need. I mean, it didn't ask your name, it didn't make you fill out a form, yet it knew exactly who you were and exactly how much money you had. How is that even possible? What on earth is actually happening behind that screen? Today, we're unpacking the hidden technology of these everyday machines. So let's dive into this explainer and uncover the invisible world of the ATM. It really is a staggering contrast when you stop and think about it. On your end, it's just this simple, seamless 10-second transaction, right? But behind the scenes, oh, it's a mind-bending symphony. We're talking advanced electronics, cryptography, mechanical engineering, high-speed communication networks, and bank servers, all working perfectly together in the absolute blink of an eye. You might think an ATM is just a glorified metal cash box, but it's actually a highly sophisticated mini banking robot. To truly appreciate what's happening during that 2 a.m. withdrawal, we kind of have to look back at how we got here.
Section 1, a magical machine, the history of the ATM.
You know, not too long ago, getting your own money was a major chore. You actually had to physically go to a bank branch during very restricted hours, stand in these agonizingly long queues, fill out paper withdrawal slips, and just wait for a human cashier. If you missed banking hours, well, you were out of luck until the next day. But in the 1960s, inventors started experimenting with a pretty wild idea. Could we automate this whole shebang? After a bunch of failed prototypes, the revolution finally arrived in 1967 at a Barclays Bank in London. The first successful cash machine was installed, and to the public, this was literal science fiction, a machine that just hands out money. Today, that sci-fi dream has exploded into millions of machines worldwide, turning banking into a 24/7 reality for all of us.
Section 2, the card and EMV chip, your digital key.
Now, what's really interesting about this is a huge misconception people have. A lot of folks think your ATM card actually stores your money. It totally doesn't. Your card is literally just a key to access the bank's digital vault. Look at the left side here. That's the old magnetic stripe technology. It stored very basic, static data, just your card number and bank info. It was a real game changer at the time, but unfortunately quite vulnerable to copying. But over on the right, the modern EMV chip. This thing is an actual mini computer. Every single time you insert this card into an ATM, it generates a completely dynamic, totally unique digital signature for that specific transaction. It makes our modern working ATM cards incredibly secure compared to those old static stripes. Section 3, the PIN and the digital journey. The invisible race of data. So you're standing there at 2 a.m. The card reader activates, it talks to your EMV chip, and it identifies your network, whether that's Visa, MasterCard, or RuPay. But the ATM still doesn't know if you actually have any money, and it definitely needs to verify it's really you holding the card. So it asks for your PIN. And here is where the first massive security layer kicks in. You are typing on what is officially called an encrypting PIN pad. The exact moment you press those 4 or 6 digits, this special pad instantly scrambles them into an incredibly complex encrypted code. Your PIN is literally never stored or transmitted as normal text. Honestly, even if a hacker managed to intercept the data right at that exact second, all they would see is useless, scrambled gibberish. Okay, so with your encrypted PINs safely bundled up, this high-speed digital relay race begins. The ATM sends this transaction request out into the ether. It flies through various communication networks, bouncing through payment switches and complex processing systems. In mere milliseconds, literally faster than you can blink, this encrypted package lands squarely at your specific bank's core server. Once the server receives it, it has to make a series of lightning-fast decisions before it sends any approval back to that lonely ATM booth you're waiting in. In that tiny fraction of a second you spend waiting, the bank's core server is running a super rigorous checklist. First up, it decrypts and checks the PIN. Is it a match? Then, is this specific card currently active, or has someone reported it stolen? Crucially, does this account actually have the balance to cover the requested cash? Has the user crossed their daily withdrawal limit? And finally, it scans for suspicious activity, like, did this exact card just get used in another country 10 minutes ago? If and only if absolutely all of these boxes are checked, the bank fires an approval signal right back to the machine.
Section 4, the engineering of cash withdrawal, from the vault to your hands.
So the crucial point is what happens next. Deep inside the belly of the ATM is a heavily reinforced, incredibly heavy physical safe. Inside the safe sit several cash cassettes, and each one holds a specific denomination.
say 100, 200, 500, or 2,000 currency notes. Let's say you requested 5,000. The ATM's internal computer instantly calculates the absolute most efficient mix of notes to pull from these different cassettes to give you your exact amount. It's like a high-speed math puzzle.
Once that calculation is done, the cash dispensing system completely springs into action. Tiny, incredibly precise mechanical rollers activate right at the edge of the chosen cassettes. They begin literally picking up the paper notes one by single one at incredibly high speeds. But as you know, physical paper is tricky. Notes can be sticky, they might be folded, or two notes could accidentally get pulled at exactly the same time. The machine really needs a rock-solid way to guarantee it doesn't give you too much money or hand you a ripped bill. This is exactly where the internal sensors come in, and let me tell you, they are meticulous. As every single note zips through the machine, optical and physical sensors are rigorously inspecting it. They check the exact thickness and the exact length of the bill. They check its position on the track. If two notes are stuck together, the thickness sensor immediately flags it as a double note. If a note is torn or severely folded, it's flagged as damaged. And the machine doesn't just stop and give up. It actively diverts any problematic notes straight into a separate internal reject bin and just grabs a fresh note to replace it. Once the perfect verified notes are all gathered up, high-speed conveyor belts neatly arrange them into a clean little stack. The machine's computer does one absolute final verification just to ensure the amount perfectly matches your request. Only then does the cash presenter mechanism physically slide the money through the slot on the front of the machine right into your waiting hands. But here is a fascinating detail that surprises a lot of people. The machine's job actually isn't completely over once the cash is sitting there in the slot. It is still watching you. If you happen to be distracted, maybe you're looking at your phone, and you forget to grab your money, a hidden timer is ticking down. After a certain number of seconds, the ATM will literally physically retract the cash back inside the machine and drop it into a secure bin. It does this to prevent the next person walking by from simply pocketing your forgotten money, and your account will automatically be credited back. It's an absolutely brilliant failsafe, right? Section 5. Security and the future of ATMs. The next step in technology. The reality, though, is that ATMs are constantly on the front lines of a massive arms race against fraud. Criminals use sneaky tactics like card skimming, where a tiny device is placed right over the card slot to copy your data. They use hidden cameras or fake keypads overlaid on the real ones to capture your PIN. They even use card trapping devices to literally get your working ATM card stuck in the machine. It's a very real, very serious threat landscape. Because of this, modern ATMs are equipped with intense anti-skimming tech, jitter mechanisms that physically vibrate the card as it goes in to confuse those skimmers, and continuous CCTV monitoring. These machines are constantly evolving to protect themselves and, of course, your money. And this brilliantly illustrates where we're heading, because this arms race is pushing us toward a totally fascinating future. The ATM of tomorrow is actually moving beyond the traditional plastic card entirely. We're already seeing cardless withdrawals using just your phone. Advanced facial recognition and biometric authentications are being rolled out to replace PINs altogether. We're even seeing the rise of cash recyclers. These are machines that take the cash a merchant deposits at 9 a.m., verify it internally, and then dispense that exact same cash to a customer at 10 a.m., creating a highly efficient closed-loop system. The ATM is basically transforming into a fully autonomous, mini digital bank branch. So the next time you grab cash at 2 a.m., take a second to really look at that machine. You inserted a tiny piece of plastic, and thousands of lines of code, global networks, advanced cryptography, and extreme precision robotics all worked in perfect harmony to hand you exactly what you asked for in just 10 seconds. The real beauty of technology is that even though it's incredibly complex behind the scenes, it feels totally simple and effortless to us. Which really makes you wonder, as these machines get smarter, faster, and even more invisible, what exactly will banking look like 10 years from now? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I hope you never look at an ATM the exact same way again.